Whenever you're ready.
Hey everybody, my name is Mara Leineberger. You might know me as Lady Tech Gabriel. I'm part of the Goodnight Child Empowerment Network, and I'm running this Zoom call today to support Lady Sophia West's launch of a brand new course. She's going to talk you through that today. Do you want to say anything about that before I go over the tools we're using, Sophia?
Yeah, actually, first of all, I'd like y'all to raise your glass, whatever it is. I have tea. Only because I'm sugared out after the Halloween candy last night. Congratulations. You all have been through a rough and tumble roller coaster. There's Michaela in the back. And hold on. We have a delinquent knight that is trying to call in. Anyway, you have been amazing. I'm so excited for all of you to have made it this far. And wow, what a ride. So you've proven your mettle, and I just want to say how much I appreciate each and every one of you, and I'm so happy that you are willing to step forward and keep on going. So cheers. And cheers to Sir Edward, who's not here, but he will be watching this later on.
Well, welcome aboard, everybody. So, as I said, I'm Lady Tech Gabriel in the network, and you've read a little bit about my story, but my professional work is as an educator and using technology to do that work. So I am here primarily, my job is to support Lady Sophia in introducing this new course, and just like the Facebook group was, this is new. This is the first time that Sir Edward's channeled documents are being taught as a formal class. So we're going to endeavor to make this the most painless and really positive and growth-oriented experience that we can.
Let me stop you there. It's actually not the first time it's formally been taught. It's the first time it's been taught online.
Way. I meant this way, online.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for that clarification. The first time we're really doing the full-on coursework together online. So we're using this tool called Zoom, which is a video conferencing webinar software. I am recording this call, so it will be made available to other people who are going to take the course to walk them through the same things we're going to do with you. Gives you a chance to put names to faces, gives you a chance to see what the course is going to look like, and hopefully we're going to be able to walk you through the technologies that you will be using in the coming weeks and months and possibly years ahead, so that you're comfortable, so that the technology sort of disappears and the learning becomes really fluid and easy for you. I know we've all had lots of interesting experiences, usually challenges with using Facebook as a learning tool. How about a thumbs up or a thumbs down on that?
Well, you know what? It was actually exactly perfect. I mean, as we were going through everything, you know, just like the Marines over here in the United States, they're looking for the best of the best. And you guys rose to the top because you saw through a lot of the negativity and you really listened to what's inside. You know, that light bearer that is inside is waking up, and you could see when things just really weren't as they seemed. And when you did have questions, you answered your own questions internally. And that's the way to go. I mean, this is what we're all about. We're all about empowering all of those gifts that are inside of us. So it was not ever really intended to be a teaching tool, meaning Facebook. It was really intended to see if people could be taught in that venue. And we found out that it's just way too all over the board. And Facebook uses, like Google and a lot of other different technology these days, they're using different platforms and algorithms to get us to be more addicted or more invasive in our life. And when that happens, posts are getting dropped down, or some of us weren't even seeing posts. I didn't even know things were being posted, and it just got to be crazy town. So yes, definitely, we were never really intending it to be the teaching classroom, but just to see who would be drawn to that light that was on that page. And certainly it definitely yielded the benefit that we were looking for. So
we had a comment from Susie that she's used Zoom before. That's really cool. If you've used Zoom before, I'm super glad to hear that. And Gary recommended, he just sort of came right on my heels of recommending we're going to keep ourselves muted when we're in class together to honor Sophia, and whomever else has the floor at the time if she's designated a time for you to speak. What that does is it keeps the recording nice and clean. So I have muted all of you. Most of you I have muted, but if you wanted to mute yourself, the way that you do that is look at your screen, the window of you. You should be up at the top. You have two options when you're in Zoom. There's a toggle in the upper right-hand corner that says speaker view. If you click on that, what it will do is it will throw everybody who's in class up in the top in a long skinny row, and there'll be an arrow that you can go back and forth and see who's there. And right now what you should be seeing, if you've done that, is you'll see my face is primarily large in the middle of your screen. That's because I'm the person speaking. If you click that button again, it chooses something called gallery view, which I basically call it the Brady Bunch window, because you see all the live talking heads. And the person that's speaking will be framed in a yellowish green stripe. Inside of your own window in the upper right hand corner, you will see an option to mute.
You're muted. I can't hear you.
I said, I actually did that on purpose. I muted myself. I said, I just muted myself. Can you see that? And then you'll notice in the bottom lower corner, you will have whatever way that you signed up to use Zoom. So like in my case, you'll see my email address. Sir Doc is up in my left-hand corner, and he's logged in as Leonard Malinowski. Yes, Sir Doc's given human name is Leonard. Hi, Leonard.
He also has Lady Q's there with him down.
Hey.
I think I hear somebody's.
I'm looking right now, and I think it's Joanna. I'm going to mute you. Yeah, that was Joanna. So what I'm going to ask you to do from this point forward, if we have a call like this again, go up and mute yourself. Although it is my intention to always back Lady Sophia up and provide the technical support, which will then allow her to be fully focused. And if she needs to channel information, or she can focus fully on the instructional aspects of this space. So any questions so far about Zoom? I mean, it has lots of really cool features that we may or may not use at some point, but today the main purpose was to gather you together to sort of take that next leveled step up. And we're going to take some time to show you what will be coming in the next, either tonight or tomorrow, Sophia. I don't know when you're going to invite people into class, but we're going to show you what the classroom is going to look like. And we'll talk through about how that space is going to function in the coming months.
Yeah, actually what I will probably do, the actual class energetically is going to go live at 12:01 All Saints Day, and that's Eastern Standard Time. So that's Wednesday, right after midnight, we will have the first class go live. It's up there right now, and Lady Mara is actually going to walk you through. So you'll see the space, and you'll be able to see all the documents and everything that we want you to do. My plan right now is to cover one lesson every 2 weeks. And you'll see the introductory letter that you'll be able to read once the class opens. We may accelerate that. We may make it longer time, depending on how you all are adjusting or how it's going as far as what they're saying above. Do we need to move faster? Is it okay for us to move slower? But each class will be different in the content, obviously, but the structure of the class is pretty much going to be the same. You're going to have some sort of visualization, guided visualization, a video or an audio that you will have, because we would normally be doing this in person and guiding you through that during that time and space, which, interestingly enough, is once it's done, it's gone. But now, with me recording all of that, you're going to have access to that going forward, permanently. You won't ever lose that guided visualization. What we miss, though, is the interaction with the group. But then that's why I would like to gather at least once a month like this and get a little bit of feedback. Today we're not going to do so much that because we're short on time. But when Mara takes you through the space, you'll be able to see all the different components of what will be in there. And like I said, each month that will shift.
Mm-hmm. And Susie just reminded us that we have a chat window. I don't know if all of you had noticed that. Down at the bottom of the Zoom interface, there's a little bubble for a chat bar. If you click on that, it opens up on the right-hand side. I have the capacity to send a message to everyone. I also have the capacity to send a message to people privately. As the administrator of this tool, I'm obligated to tell you that I can see all of what goes on, whether or not you're doing it privately or you're doing it to the full group. So if you're going to chat, that's just basically when I taught younger students, I always let them know, I can see everything you're doing. So just think about what that means when you do things. You're welcome to use the chat box. If you have a question that comes up while we're working, that's the perfect place to put it, because it doesn't interrupt either my instruction or Sophia's instruction, but it holds that question there in the right-hand side to be answered at a point where there's a nice, breaking point for taking questions. So if you want to go ahead and open up that chat window in the right-hand side, now's a great time to do that.
So before we go into show you the Google Space, does anybody have any really pressing questions? And you can go ahead and type them over there and we can get to them. Anything that you need clarification for before we go into the Google Classroom space?
Maybe because we have a large group, let's do, like raise your hand and then Sophia can call on you and you can unmute yourself if you have it.
I don't see it. I hear somebody, but I don't see a hand.
Hi, this is Lady Kimberly. I'm having some technical difficulties and I'm not really sure what I've missed, and I'm on my phone but trying to relog onto my computer.
Are you the 1414 number?
Yeah, that's me, yes.
Okay. All right, well, it looks like from my end, Lady Mara, it looks like there's no video, but there's an audio button.
Right. So Lady Kimberly, you've called in via phone. It's going to be really difficult for you to visualize and see what we're doing. That's totally fine for today's call. So what I'm going to recommend is you just hang out, be part of the call like this. Don't worry too much about your technology. Okay. And Lady Sophia is going to send out a recording of this call, at which point you can look through and see the visuals that match. But energetically, since you're with us, I think it makes the most sense for you to just sit tight on your phone, enjoy listening to the voices that you hear, because they're not in your head. And,
it's just frustrating. Right.
Yeah, I'm sure it's frustrating.
Oh, I'm so frustrated right now.
What you can do is take a deep breath and know that it's all perfect because we're recording this.
Okay.
And you'll be able to go back and you're going to know exactly what to do. Imagine the frustration of the person who really wanted to be here today and this time didn't suit their schedule. So they're even one step more frustrated. So we're all going to take a nice deep breath and send them out some love right now that really time it's not really real. So when they join us later on this recording, literally hello to all of you who are joining us later. You are with us right now. In this moment.
Well, the entire group is with us. You'll read in the document that I've created for you for your first class that you have all become a living, breathing entity. This group has a life. You're each individual lives, but together you have been through a boot camp type situation and all elevated together. So with that, when the old saying, when two or more gather in my name, there I am. Well, you have a person and a relationship, and between those two people, there's a relationship. Between this group, there's a group whole relationship. So we've pulled everybody in that is left on that page right now. So they're all here energetically. They're all a part of you. You're a part of them. I mean, I don't know about you, but I would wake up in the morning and I would hear you guys in my head. I'd go to sleep at night and I think about you and all the interactions and the turmoils through the day, the victories, and you can't not be a part of that. So just know that wherever you are a part of us, and I remember the line in the book, when we're apart, we're together. When we're together, we're apart. So you're never not.
So
Lady Mary, you want to go ahead and look in the Google Classroom?
Yeah, so what I'm going to do now, before I even open up Google Classroom, I'm going to show you the email. So I'm doing something called a screen share. And before I do that, I am going to...
Susie said something to Kimberly. Kim, are you still there?
She is. I'm
Okay, it said, Susie said, if you hang up and try to use the link as opposed to the call-in number, you might get video.
Okay.
So it's up to you. You're welcome to do either one. You know, we're still here, so you're welcome to listen, or you're welcome to hang up and try again.
I'm going to hang up and try again. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
All right, go ahead, Mary.
I was going to say, you know, she's welcome to do either one. I think it's fine to just stay put. And I just noticed something really cool. Anthony just joined us. I think it's Anthony, and
Anthony's been here.
No, down at the bottom. Who is it that just joined us with their angel?
Oh, I love it. He's got his name. He's got his energy code.
I just thought that was cool. I love it. And the only thing is I don't know your name, and I need to have a chart to remember who that is. But that's all cool. So welcome to the people who are joining us late. I'm going to mute you, and it's not that you're voiceless, but it's that it's gonna keep the recording nice and clean sound wise, so that as we teach people how to use the tools, they'll know. So Jen, you just came in. You have the ability to mute yourself in the upper right-hand corner of your window. And our member, and your name looks so familiar. Is it John, who's A100?
Bruce
Fowler. There we go.
Maybe we'll come up with a way in which we can name ourselves,
our
name and our angel code. That is really cool that you did that. I'm going to mute you both, and then I'm going to screen share. What I'm going to do, everybody, is show you the email that Lady Sophia sent me to invite me into the course. So she has been designing instruction for you in a tool called Google Classroom. You've seen that. And Google Classroom is what's referred to in education as a learning management system. So if you have ever taken an online class before, you may have taken a course in a tool called Blackboard at the college level, or there's an open source tool that's called Moodle. Google Classrooms is, and I'm getting waving there from Tammy, I'm thinking she's taking classes that way. If you haven't, it's no big deal, but I'm just creating some background knowledge, activating knowledge that people have. Google Classrooms is Google's solution to a learning management system. And I will share with you also part of why we're using Google Classrooms is because the work that we're doing at the Goodnight Castle to open a school in the coming year, we will very likely be using this exact set of tools for the children. So part of what I'm doing and exploring with Sophia is using these tools and having all of you utilize them so that we can see how well they work to bring together a group of students. Because regardless of age, you know, you are doing a pilot test for us for potentially that will benefit the children. So hopefully you'll love knowing that you're also helping us prepare for the kids who will be attending that school in the fall. So I'm going to screen share now, and I'm going to show you the, and Lady Sophia, will you keep an eyeball, maybe you can't, on the chat, because I just had somebody text in the chat window, but now that I've shared my screen, I can't see it.
I can't either. I'll see if, oh, wait a minute, I got chat. Okay. I got it. Go ahead. I'll watch.
Show you. So Lady Sophia sent me an email, and this is what it looked like. You will be getting one of these yourself in your Google Mail account that you have. Just to clarify, you don't have to have Gmail to use the Google Classroom, but you do have to have a Google account, a login. So it's really just easier to set up a Google Mail account because that takes care of everything. It's the login that you have. So I have a Gmail account. This is the email I received from Sophia. And all I had to do to get into the Angel Nights class was to click on join. Pretty simple, right? Thumbs up on that. That's what's going to happen. That's all it's going to take. Once you have that Gmail account, you will get an email from Sophia prior to that Wednesday, 12:01. And I'm guessing, are you staying up late, Lady Sophia, on Wednesday night or Wednesday morning and hitting send?
No, you can schedule it to open at any time. So
I know. I was teasing you. I was thinking you were going to be awake at 12:01 on Wednesday.
No.
Okay, I'm going to click join, and I'll let you see what happens when I do that. Takes me right into the classroom, and I'm going to slide this down just a wee bit so that I know that I want the recording to be nice and clean so you can see it. So you'll notice it's a web-based classroom. So if you think back to your days in school, you had different classrooms. This is one class. If I were to click over here on the left-hand side on these little three bars, it would take me back out to a main menu, which would be the school. You could actually be attending a whole bunch of schools in Google Classroom. But this is the one you're in, Angel Night Master Studies Class 101. So this is the space in the container for your class. You will see down below here that Sophia is teaching it. Get 3 tabs at the top: Stream, Classmates, and About. Stream is where Sophia will be sending you the stream of consciousness, the content that she's going to be sharing with us and asking us to learn from. Classmates will be where you can see who else is enrolled. And right now you can see that just for the moment, I'm in there and Sir Edward is in there. But pretty soon you will all be listed there. And About is just an area where you can see who's teaching the class, and it's possibly there will be a folder of your own work. We may start to collect resources for you in a folder. There may be a calendar at some point. Right now, there's nothing there. So really the most important place for you to be doing anything will be here where it says Stream. So on the left-hand side, you can see that's right here. It says, "Woohoo, no work is due soon." So that's awesome. But at some point, there will be things that may be listed here that are assignments that you need to do. And you'll be able to click on there and you can see all of them. But probably the thing that will hopefully be the most exciting for you is as we get started, Sophia will be adding things that we will be doing on this left side under topics. And they will be ordered sequentially as she goes. So unlike Facebook, where things were getting shoved down or they had to be pinned to the top, or based on the algorithms, you were getting things and not getting things, everything that Sophia adds will be here on the left side. So here's the Calling All Saints post that she made, which just basically told her, we'll let you know that we're getting started on Wednesday, November 1st. There's another piece here where she's announcing that we're having a tutorial. So I don't think, Sophia, I'm not seeing your lessons. Actually, they are here.
Okay.
Yeah, there it is. So I'm going to walk you through this very first lesson. I'm not sure why it's not showing up here on the left side, but you and I can sleuth that out. It should actually show lesson 1 over here on the side. But
I think because I put those 2 things on there first so that they could see announcements. Obviously, nobody was in the site to see Calling All Saints or the Zoom call, but I just wanted to put something over there as an example. So I didn't post the lesson yet, and I think that that's why it's not there.
Yeah, I think it's also because you have a due date set for it.
I do.
That this very first lesson is due November 14th. You'll notice when I go over top of this title, Lesson 1, Book of Wisdom, that's a hyperlink, which means I can click on it and open it, or I can click on the open button here on the right side. You'll also notice up here at the top, it says not done. That's for me personally to show me that I have not done the lesson yet. So that's going to really help me as a learner to go in and know what I've attended to and what I haven't. And unlike Facebook, where we were seeing all these posts, and then you might have thought to yourself, I don't know if I've read everything. And if you were new, you were struggling to get caught up. Well, that's not going to happen. So when I click on Lesson 1, Book of Wisdom, let's see what happens. You'll notice it's asking me if I want to mark it as done. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to go back and click on the back arrow there. Or clicked on that X, that got me out of there. But you'll notice Sophia's got 3 items for me. She's telling me that before 12 midnight on November 14th, she wants me to write an essay recounting my experiences with the lesson. And that would be the lesson from the When Angels Dream Book of the North, the lessons from the Hierophant that are in the back. She wants me to submit a piece of writing. And she's given me some specifications here. So this is really just like we were doing this in Facebook, but she's asking us to be a little more succinct, I think. Some of us wrote more, some of us wrote less. This is kind of a way to get us all to write in a way that's manageable. If you think about it, you could potentially have how many people, Sophia? in this
Well,
group?
I think that there's technically like 54 people on the page, but not all 54 have joined. But even if it's 35 or 40, I have to read all those lessons, and then I'm still in the middle of writing. So, and it's not like it's going to be graded, but I do have to go over it. So that's why I keep it in that range there, because I think that it's just something to get your thoughts on paper. There's always opportunity, and I know you're going to show them this. There's always opportunities to comment and ask questions as well.
Mhm.
So, and everybody will have my email address to email me personally if there's any problems or anything comes up, and I can answer that way as well.
If you're having a problem with the technologies, you're welcome to email me so that we can keep some of the weight off of Lady Sophia. When I teach online, I tend to keep my classes to 10 or 12 students, and that way I can give lots of personal attention. The onus, I think, in this course is going to be on you. These lessons we're reading are things that we're supposed to be taking on as practice. So the bulk of the work is going to be on you. But this is a way for Sophia to check in and see how you're doing. And it's also a way, I think we'll all be able to see the lessons that people are submitting and respond to those as well. But with potentially 60 people, keeping it down to one piece of writing per 2 weeks should really help us a lot to have our lives be more manageable, and to put the focus on actually practicing and implementing the lessons. So let's take a look at what she's got for us in this first week. This first item is a Google Doc, and I can click on it. And it'll take me out to a document that she's prepared, telling me what kind of materials she wants me to have for the class. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, Sophia?
Obviously, everybody has the book, so you're all good. What I highly recommend is a journal, a binder. If you're a physical person and you like to actually have that journal or a binder to keep your notes in, that's great. If not, a computer app or some sort of document software to journal your journey in this process, because you will be blown away and amazed at what happens going forward when you 6 months down the road read what you actually thought 6 months ago. I'm actually amazed at just listening and reading some of your work online, and I've seen the growth energetically. It's just astounding. So I think that it's something that you'll see. It's very rewarding when you can look back. The other things that I always reference in any of my classes, number one, Don Miguel Ruiz's 4 agreements. You're going to hear me talk a lot about not taking something personally. You're talking about the assumptions. Is that photos pop up on yours, Mara?
It's mine. I realized I needed to plug in my phone.
Okay, it's like, what is that?
Y'all saw me. I just plugged in my phone and it was doing a backup.
I was getting ready to say Michaela's doing something with my phone.
Nope.
Anyway, so I really highly recommend getting the book. That one is online or at the library, I am sure. But it's one of those things that, it's really great to have. The other one that all of us in the core group of knights that are here at the castle, and a few periphery people who have that are a little bit further out in like the Virginia and lower Maryland area, Lady Mara is part of it as well. We're in something called a mindful technology test of using texting, where we're all reading the same exact excerpt of a book every single day, and we text when we're done. And the reason why we started to do this is, number one, to get on the same page energetically, so that we're amping our energy up. We started it back on Easter morning after I got guidance about the original or the initial launching of the missiles with Korea. They told me to get all the knights together and mindfully start reading something and doing the lesson. So I actually had all of our knights for 29 days in a row just read a lesson, like lesson 1, and then they would text us done 1 on Easter day. The next day they would do done 2. So what we've done is we've taken that brain hacking technology that Google uses to actually get people's endorphins and the serotonin jumping up every time they hear a ping on their technology. We've taken that actual system that they've used and we've turned it into a very positive, mindful thing. So we all read this book, and it's a wonderful book. I think that some of you have seen some of the postings that I've done when the meditation for the day truly speaks to exactly what we're all going through in that group. So years ago, I read that book for 3 years in a row, and there were days where I would read it going, I don't remember ever reading that. So what that tells me is that there's some days that we really need that wisdom, and some days we're not there yet, and other days it's building on the wisdom that we've had before. So it's just a recommendation. You do not have to do it, but it's something that helps us. The other book that I'm going to be referencing quite a lot is Awakening the Heroes Within by Carol Pearson. And I do believe I referenced it when Gary wrote me a question about the archetypes that I talked to you about that are going to ring the property. The 12 exhibits basically represent the 12 archetypes of the psychological archetypes of humanity. It's a fascinating book. I checked online, and right now I don't believe there's any new copies, but everybody's selling them as used copies for about $4.71. So if you can afford it, I would get it. I'm just going to reference it and not make it mandatory now. The next classes that I take or that I offer later on down the road, those books will be mandatory because it's just part of what we're going to be doing. But I'll try my best to scan certain segments of it without totally plagiarizing. I've already got a request into Carol Pearson's people, so to see if I can actually use excerpts of the books, but I haven't heard back yet. So right now that's just for your own personal use if you can get them.
I did want to just, I got this ping as you were talking to reference to everyone that I am modeling for you today the use of your laptop as the tool that you use to access the Google Classroom. You can also use a tablet or a smartphone. You can download an app to do that. It looks a little bit different. Right at the moment, I don't have a way to mirror my iPhone or a tablet for you to show you what that looks like. So I'm going to say, if you're comfortable doing that, please do that at your own discretion. If you're not, then I'm going to recommend that you work on your coursework from a computer, just because it's a little more robust.
Is there anybody out there using Google Classroom with their smartphone? Anybody? You are, Bruce? Because Michaela uses it. I don't know if I guess you really can't even see that, can you? No, not really. Yeah. Anyway.
I mean, one of the challenges for us, Sophia, will be to mirror the phone into the Zoom call. It requires another level of technology that I haven't done it yet. Doesn't mean we can't do it.
Yeah, we'll look into it. Okay.
But I wanted people to be aware that you can be using it on a smartphone or a tablet.
Okay. Joanna's using the phone. No sorries. Is it working, Joanna?
She's using her iPhone. She's
using an iPhone.
Yeah, and you can do Zoom on that as well. I just want you to be aware of the fact that it looks a little bit different from what we're showing on the screen. So I'm going to go back. So that these course items, if you've taken any university coursework, this is kind of like a light. It is a syllabus of sorts. It doesn't have everything in here. The lessons is not. This is not quite as formal as a university course, but you would expect to have items required for your course. So I'm going to go back. Let's see what else. We've got a class introduction document. So what's super nice too, just in case you didn't think of it or you didn't realize it, when you're in this document, you could print it if you're someone who likes paper and pencil.
You can actually take notes on it. If you're in Google, once you have your Google account, the reason why I did this, I made everything in Google, meaning that this is Google Docs. So I can have a folder that says, Angel Knight's course, and everything's in there, and they can actually type right into this document if they have Google Docs as well.
Yeah, I could go over here and say file, and I can make a copy and add it. If I want to keep this document, I can print it. So there's a lot of other things we can do because we're learning this way. I would ask you not, and Sophia, I don't know if you've set this up, you're sharing whether or not you have it set up yeah, you have to invite people to work on this. So you don't have the ability to write on this document. That's probably as it should be. We might have a document at some point that we work on collaboratively, but for the moment, the documents are just documents that Sophia is sharing, but you can print it. You can, and it does tell me we are only able to view this document. We cannot edit Sophia.
Oh, okay.
But that's as it should be. This is a course document. This isn't a collaborative document.
Okay.
But I can print it. I can go and I can make a copy of it, or I can add it to my own Google Drive to save it. I can email it to I can print it and things like that. So let's see. Class introduction just basically is another Google Doc that Sophia has set up. It is view only also. I'm actually not going to go through this. I'm going to let you read that, but that's going to welcome you into the class. And she's basically talking with you about why we're here, what we're doing, what we've been through. But I want to save that for you. If that's okay, Sophie, I'm going to save that and let them enjoy seeing that when they get there. It's not like Christmas morning. I want them to have something to look forward to.
Well, they've got the YouTube video they can watch too.
And you have a lesson. So in a nutshell, when Sophia and I were talking about this, and I should say before I talk about that, you're going to be looking through these 3 items, listening to the exercise. She's going to want you to, in fact, I didn't mean to do that, but you can see she's got exercise 1. You are going to then create your response. So you're going to be reading lesson 1 in your When Angels Dream book. Lesson 1 is the progressive relaxation. And
Mary just asked a question. Does the classroom notify us when a new lesson is available, or do we just have to go in and check, wondering just in case an unplanned assignment is given? Now, I don't know, Mary, you can answer based on what you know, but I'm only going by my use of Google Classroom before. Every time the instructor returns an assignment, posts an assignment, or does anything, I've gotten an email. Is that correct?
Yeah, and it should be that way, and I believe that will be taken care of in your own settings for the class. I think
it's one of the reasons why I think I really like the fact that they all have just a Gmail, so that way if you're not doing anything else with your email, you're not going to miss anything because it's just coming to that email.
Yeah. When I clicked over here on the left-hand side, those 3 little bars I was referencing before, you can see that I have some other items in there as well. I could go back and see what other classes I have, but at the bottom I've got settings, and this is what you will want to double check. But I did not change anything here. This is a default setting, so yours should be this way when you get there. I could change my profile picture if I wanted to, but you can see right now everything's turned on. So I'm going to receive an email every time something happens. I'm going to receive emails every time someone comments on my post, someone mentions me, work and other posts from other teachers gets posted. You can go in here and decide and decide for yourself what you want. So if you find that you're getting too much email, which could be the same kind of thing as those pings we were all getting in Facebook, you have the capacity to go in and decide which things you want. Now, classes you teach, you're not teaching, so it's just this work from other people. Which bits and pieces do you want? Do you want a reminder for your work? I think that would be kind of nice. So yes, this would be the answer. This is going to notify me that you've posted something, Sophia. It's going to notify me that you've made comments on my post or that somebody else has commented on my post. It's going to remind me that I have work that's due, especially if you're posting due dates, Sophia.
Well, so just going forward, you'll read this once you get the invitation and you're actually in the lesson, but we're going to structure it pretty close to what the original channeling from the Hierophant to Sir Edward, his instructions were to read the lessons 7 days in a row. So all I really want you to do, even though I know you all have read this before, I'm asking you, once you receive the lesson, to go in and read just lesson 1, which is like 2.5, 3 pages, for 7 days in a row before doing anything else. And then you're going to start to practice the lesson, the progressive relaxation. And again, I know you've done this before, but I'm going to ask you to do that again. And the reason being is the lessons and the words have been programmed in almost a sacred geometry, mathematical hierarchy from the universe. And each time you read it, each time it's committed into your mind, you're building, you're like stacking a building block, and it's going to give you a different level of foundation. So that's why one of the reasons why I suggested to everybody in Facebook is, please, whenever you see something, a post, especially ones that oot you, please, before you do anything and hit the button and start, let me respond to that. Let's take a breath and let's reread it at least 3 times before responding, because we're a different person the first time that we've read it, and a minute later we're a totally different person, and then 2 hours later we're a totally different person. So we're coming from a perspective that is a little bit more maybe enlightened. Maybe you just had it out with somebody else when you received this information, and your energy's amped. So it goes on that same type of foundation, where when you're reading, it's going to take you to a different level and then take you to a different level, just like the Hierophant had Sir Edward do. Now, he had 30 days. We're only going to have 14. Now, I believe that you all are more than ready to do this. And you also have to remember that he channeled these lessons back in a decade where he had, if you want to call it, the luxury of time. We don't have the luxury of time. We need to move a little bit faster. And I think you're all, obviously ready to do that. So if you have any questions or it gets to be too much, I need feedback. Don't make any assumptions. If you're falling behind, please let me know. But I think that you'll all be able to easily follow this kind of course of instruction, the way it's laid out.
To back you up on that, Sophia. So on November 1st, you're going to read lesson 1. On November 2nd, you're going to read lesson 1. On November 3rd and 4th and 5th and 6th and 7th, you're going to read lesson 1. So 7 days of reading the same lesson in the way that Sir Edward did that. And then 7 days of actually practicing what you've learned. But think of the power of that when we're all reading the same passage every day from that Angel Wisdom book. There's a lot of power that's generated from us all reading the same content. So for 7 days, we're all going to be reading lesson 1.
Yeah, think about what I said earlier in the call. This group as a whole is an actual living, breathing entity. So and think of it as having 35 minds, and all of those minds are elevating at the same time. And as you're elevating, as your consciousness is elevating, the tethers that you have to humanity, you're pulling everyone up. They don't consciously know what's happening, but just like that video that Sir Doc posted about 3 or 4 weeks ago from the Bashar, that said that 144,000 have the capability, focused capability, to change everything without even the rest of the world knowing what's going on. It will just shift. And so that's what's happening while we're all doing the same thing within the same 24-hour period, within the same 7-day period, and the same 14-day period. The power behind that is just astronomical.
Okay.
Let me see. June just said, if we choose no email, can the tags or posts be contained in our Google Class folders to be opened later? Emails can be lost in our current emails, where this is not only email we get. I don't understand.
I think what she's asking is, Lady June, mine says not done. So when you go in, that's going to tell you that there's something new that Lady Sophia has added. They also should end up being listed over here on the left-hand side. Some of this is new to us, and some of this is, we'll see how this works, most especially when we get 60 people in here. This is intentionally simple right now because we're testing to see how much content feels good for everybody. So like Sophia said, if we need to speed up or slow down, add more content or add dialogue or things like that, we'll do that. But we're not going to do it up front. We're going to go slowly to make sure that we get this online space structured in a way that works for everybody. If you think of Sir Edward having run his first Wednesday club they met once a week for a couple hours. I don't know that everybody had a chance to talk on that day.
Once a month.
Once a month.
A month.
So think of it, we're remodeling that in this online fashion. And so it's going to take us a little while to get it settled in and have it feel good for everybody.
Well, what I do want to, I know that Lady Mara is pressed for time. She has an event to go to, but the next call, I would like it to be an open forum where we can have people talk and discuss. This is part of what I feel is very, very important and integral to this course is the interaction, the interpersonal relationships that we create and the sharing. We will have to keep the sharing to a minimum because of the time. We can't sit here for 3 hours. But the other thing that I want to have happen that I wanted to do today, but we don't have the time. I would like everyone to come up with a small little introduction, because normally when I teach a class, I would have all of you here and I would say, we're going to go around the circle and we're going to introduce ourselves. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, we know each other from Facebook, but we really don't know each other. You know, we don't know what we do for a living. We don't know what our family is. Whatever it is you want to share, I would love to learn more about you in that way. And I'm sure that, you know, other people here would like to do that as well. So before Wednesday, just write up a little thing that if I said to you right now, I'm going to unmute you, what would you say? You know, give us that 30-second elevator speech when you meet me and say, this is who I am and this is what I do and this is why I want to be here. Why are you drawn to be here? I know you've answered 15,000 questions from Sir Edward and Master Eru and Michael, but I want to know. I need to know what and why you're here. And I really do think the rest of your classmates want to know that as well. So I'll include that in a document form along with lesson 1, so you guys can get to know each other in that way until we actually have our next Zoom call meeting where we can open the floor and everybody can talk. Does that sound like thumbs up? Good idea, guys? We're good? Okay.
Today was really designed to be just an opportunity for us to show you the 2 technologies that we'll be using. So the Google Classroom and the Zoom calls once or twice a month, depending on how things work out. So hopefully everybody got a really good opportunity to at least get a sense of what's coming, how the lessons are going to proceed, what it's going to look like. Doesn't have to be perfect. You can email Sophia with the content questions. You can email me with the technology questions. I will end the meeting. I do have a dinner to go to tonight, so I will not get the video recording to Sophia until later this evening, but I will. And I don't know how you'll do that, but Sophia, maybe it'll just get sent out in the email that's the welcome to the course.
Can I post it to Facebook?
You can. It's a private group, and I will have this video up in my YouTube channel, but it will be listed as private, which means only people who have the link can see it. So I ask you not to share it with anybody outside of the group.
All right. Is there, okay, so everybody, is there a way I can give them my email, because I need them all to be able to send me their email that they want used for the Google Classroom. So does everybody have something to write with? Okay. All right.
You can type it in there, Sophia.
That's a good idea. Hello. Okay.
Yeah, and you can say it out loud.
It's sophia.west@gmail.com, and that's what the invitation should come from.
So if you would not get an invitation, you'll want to look in your spam folder. Make sure that you set Sophia's email as a trusted email. Watch for the email invitation to the course coming. Also watch for a link to this recording up in YouTube that you can go back and refer to. I know we haven't gotten everything perfect yet.
Say goodbye.
I know that there'll be some, and Sir Edward said there'll be bumps. I don't want to think that there's going to be any problems. I just think there's going to be interesting things that we can work through and figure out together. But I think that this is going to be a really nice way to make the learning happen.
Michaela wants to say hi.
Hi. Hi.
That was a hi and a bye real quick. So this was awesome. I'm so glad to see all of your faces. Anthony, tell Ash we said hi. Who else we missed? I know Mary and Robert were somewhere. There's Mary. I don't see Robert. Robert was there. Hey, Robert. Tammy, Shona, Bruce, Monique, Jen. Oh, she got a baby. Oh, Victoria. We didn't see Victoria. I was hoping to say hi to the baby bump.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, so awesome. Okay, so everybody email me your emails, and then I will send the class code out. Don't forget your 30-second minute elevator speech so we can get to know one another. And on Wednesday, it's game on. All right.
Bye,
All right,
everybody.
guys. Much love.